This is the filter that you're going to need for your Toyota Camry. This Toyota Camry is a 2001 to 2006 model. This is a genuine Toyota part, and you can get this on Amazon. I'll include the link to this in the description below. So the first thing you're going to do, so you're going to want to pop the trunk, and the trunk lever is right here. For the Camry, there's a lever down here, right here. I don't know if you can see it. You can press that and then lift your trunk up. Here's the oil valve that you're going to be taking off. I usually just hand tighten these things. You don't want to over tighten them. I got these Fumoto valves online. They make oil changes a breeze because you just hit this lever and the oil will pour out, and you don't have to use a socket wrench to open the oil pan. So if you can, this is a small investment. It's about 30 bucks to get that you can attach to your car. They have one for almost like every make and model of car. This one is for the Mini Cooper that I will be changing later, but I have one that's already installed on the Camry. You gotta note that some cars, like the Mini Cooper, I didn't install this because it wouldn't fit. I had to get an adapter. You see this adapter valve? I had to get that for the Mini Cooper. I'll include links to this for the Mini Cooper and for my 2005 Camry in the description below. First thing you want to do is you're going to want to jack up your car. Make sure you have your wheel stops in the back. For my jack, I'm going to lock my jack by putting my rod in here and then turning this. This locks the gas in the jack so that it can lift up a heavy amount. The hydraulic, I'm gonna say. You're gonna wanna make sure you know the jack points for your car. But for the Camry, there's one on the left side, one on the right side, the front and the back. There's some grooves that will let you know where you should put the jack. I have it on the right part of the car frame, so I'm just jacking this up. Once it's jacked up, I'm going to put this car jack underneath it for safety. You don't want to work while it's on the jack because jacks can fail, the car can roll off, and you do not want 2,000 to 3,000 pounds of car on you. So you just want enough clearance so you can get under. I usually do 3 notches for my jack. That's 3 notches right there. And then when you have that up, you just want to slowly release your jack so that the car rests on the jack stand. There you go. So right now my car, all the weight is on that jack stand right there. So now that that's there, we can get to work. Actually, before doing this, I'm going to go in and get some paper towels. So I'm going to open my oil pan, slide that underneath. So the thing now that, since I have the Fumoto valve, is that I do not need to have a socket to open. Actually, I'm going to open up this pan right here. I need to open this so that I can access the oil filter, and so it's just not in my way when I'm working. But mostly for the oil filter, which is on this side. Over time, I lost a bunch of these screws which attach the panels to my car. That's why I had to seal them with zip ties, which is what you saw me cutting off in the beginning of this. All right, we got this panel off. Gotta keep the screws right there. All right, I don't know if you can see, but that's my valve right here. And I'm just gonna open the valve to let the oil out. The valve is going right there. I don't know if you can see it. Oil is coming out. The oil is very black, meaning it's very dirty. It's a little wet here. I don't know if there's a leak in my oil pan. I'm gonna take a piece of towel and dry this up right here so I can determine if there are any leaks. So I'm just gonna wait till that finishes pouring out. I think I might need to tighten the Fumoto valve. We'll see. Might be leaking around the Fumoto valve. After this drains, we'll change out the oil filter. But as you can see, I didn't need to use a socket to remove this part. So it's very easy to change your oil. I think half of the time is finding the right socket. By the way, the socket for the Camry is a 14mm socket. So if you do need to change your oil and need to remove the oil pan cap, it is 14mm. Save yourself the trouble, get a Fumoto valve, which only costs about 30 bucks, especially for this model of Toyota Camry. While the oil is draining, I'm going to remove all these leaves from my car right here. So much buildup. I'm parked underneath a tree, and the tree consistently sheds leaves, and it all gets caught up under my hood. Just gonna clean that up a little bit. I'm gonna blow the rest out with a leaf blower. All right, let's check underneath, see if the oil, all right, still draining, as you can see down there. Sorry for this weird angle, I'm like tilted on my side over there, but it's definitely still draining. Let's see if I have a wrench to tighten that Fumoto valve. This is a good size wrench. All right, it's almost all drained out. While we wait, just wanted to say that I've had this car for about 13 years now. I got it when it was at 23,000 miles, and right now it is at 210,000 miles. So I have put 190,000 miles on this car in 13 years. The only thing that I really needed to fix was this intake manifold, which was the priciest thing. It cost me around $800 to install this new thing right here. But other than that, I had to replace the alternator one time, and that's it for major repairs on this car. I've only taken it to the shop one time during my 13 years of ownership of this car, and that was to replace something in the brake on this side. I replaced my brake and brake pads myself, but it was something in the brake that I couldn't repair. And other than that, I've done all my regular maintenance by myself, changed my oil every year, changed my brake pads, I flushed the brake fluid. This has been a super reliable car for me. All right, let's check down here. Okay, the oil has stopped. So I'm gonna go close that valve. I'm gonna pull out the oil pan. I'm gonna go clean up the valve a little bit and then see if I need to tighten the valve. That valve is on pretty tight. So what we're gonna do next is change this oil filter right here. I usually only hand tighten this oil filter. I never use a tool to tighten it or take it off. Sometimes when you use a tool to tighten it, it's very hard to take off. Trust me on this one, just hand tighten it. So if you can see me right now, there you go. I just turned to the left counterclockwise to loosen this filter, and I'm going to move the oil pan underneath and then do the rest. So before I loosen the oil filter, this is what the oil filter looks like. There's a seal right here that you need to take off. And then you should take some used oil and then oil the ring. There's a ring right here that you need to oil, and then once you do that, you can seal that back into your oil filter position. So I'm gonna move the oil filter pan underneath where the oil filter is, and then from this position I will loosen up the oil filter, and it's gonna start leaking oil. So you're gonna do this fast. It's all leaking all over my hands right now. Turning, there you go. And that's why you wear gloves. Okay, I'm gonna let that drain out a little bit. I think I might need to change my gloves. You see this? There's oil all over my hands. And that's why you want a paper towel near you when you're working with oil on your car. Okay, so this is what everything looks like right now. I'm gonna take my finger, dab it in the used oil so that I can lubricate the ring. And that's all you need to do. And then you can tighten it back into the filter position. So I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna get some more tissue so that I can clean around the oil filter where it was leaking. And then get my oil filter. And when you screw it in, just make sure you just hand tighten it like that. That's it. That's all I'm going to tighten it. It's not going to be super tight at all. All right, we're done with this part. Let's move on to adding the oil to the car. So I'm gonna bust out my funnel. This is Usually the oil that I use for the Toyota Camry, it is Mobil 1 5W30. You can get this at Walmart for 27 bucks or on Amazon now for 27 bucks, and I'll add a link to this in the description below. But this is typically made for Japanese or Asian vehicles, 5W30, but also refer to the internet or your manual to see which synthetic oil you need to put into your car. Right now I need to open this so that I can break the seal. So a note with synthetic oil is that with synthetic oil you should be replacing your oil only once a year or around 10,000 miles, whichever comes first. With regular conventional oil you're going to be replacing your oil a lot more frequently, which is at 3,000 miles or around 1 to 3 months. So since I do this by myself, I'd rather put in the good oil and do my oil changes once a year. So right now I'm going to put my funnel in. The 2005 Camry takes about 4 quarts of oil, depending on what car you have. Make sure you're putting in the right amount of oil. On the oil canister, it tells you how many quarts it is. There's a line, you see the oil is right here. This is 5 quarts right now. So I'm going to pour it till it reaches 1 quart down here, and that lets me know I poured in 4 quarts into my car. Right now I'm at about 3 quarts, 2 more quarts to go. All right, 2 quarts, 1 more quart. When you're pouring in new oil, you'll see that the oil is so clear. It's like a light amber color, and my used oil is like completely black. So it was definitely a time for an oil change. So that's 4 quarts right there. Every time you do this, you have an extra quart left over, so you do it 4 times, you pretty much get a free oil change. So I'm gonna get my oil filter cap so that I can cap this right here. And when I'm capping this, I'm also not tightening it too tight, just that much. I'm gonna paper towel. I'm gonna clean off any oil that's on the engine block cap. Now we're done with everything on the top. I can close the hood. So all we gotta do now is to put this panel back on. This is my least favorite part of the job. I also should see if I can find any replacement screws online so I don't need to zip tie this every time. All right, so I'm gonna zip tie back my car. I have these colorful zip ties that my wife's dad gave me. All right, now I'm gonna clean this oil pan. Then I'm going to seal the oil pan. And I'm going to save this because I'm going to change my wife's oil tomorrow. Then now what I need to do is to put the jack down. So I'm going to make sure it's tightened. All right. I'm just going to lift it enough so I can release. There you go. I can take the car jack out. And I'm going to release this jack slowly. Okay, we are pretty much done. I'm going to release this. All right, we're pretty much done. I hope that was helpful for you in learning how to change your oil in a 2001 to 2005 or 6 Camry. I think it's a 2006 Camry as the end of that generation. And if you can, get a Fumoto quick release valve for your oil. It's gonna save you a lot of time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.